What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new Impressions. Today, we're going to be talking about Rough Justice 84. This is published by Daedalic and Daedalic? Daedalic? I always said Daedalic, but I feel like I heard that that's wrong and it's Daedalic. And developed by Gamma Minus. Rough Justice 84 is a sim management strategy game, which is kind of why it took me longer to get this out. I'm not the best at these games and have to play them slower. But the whole idea behind this is it's set in the 80s, and there are private security firms. They are the big thing going on at the time. And you're a detective with a clean name after getting out of jail. Don't worry, you didn't do it. You were the fall guy. So you're going to be the face of the private security firm. One of the best parts about this game is going into the presentation of it. It's very eye-catching. It is wrapped in an 80s neo-noir cyberpunk aesthetic with synthwave music, and it all feels so good. Like, it all feels, everything you do feels like those old 80s, like, cop things, and like the old 80s stuff's going down kind of situations. It's great. It makes every part of it that you play just feel so fun, and like feels like it's a ticking clock and everything's important. It's great. Now, getting into the gameplay of this a bit. This, like I said, it's sim management gameplay where you have to choose, okay, you're gonna click on this manager in your firm, and this one deals with repossessions. Another manager will deal with bounty hunting, different stuff like that. There are different managers for different situations. Each situation comes with different mini games involved. Anything from picking locks, hot wiring cars, polygraph tests, uh, picking the right radio signal. Um, there's where I cannot remember what it's called off the top of my head, but where they have them do, like, bring in a sketch artist to draw a perp, and you have to match the correct sketches. It's so fun. The game is really like about these different mini games that you do to further your career, to complete your objective and get money, at which point you can hire more freelancers. You gain experience, which will level up your managers, making it so you get bigger and better job opportunities. As I said, you also hire freelancers, each one with a certain skill set. Think of like D&D characters, where I'm trying to remember off the top of my head the different skill sets. There's like physical strength. There's I don't know what to call it. Like, it's a brain is the picture in the game, but that's like smart. It's talking to people. There's one that's like skilled with like lock picking and doing stuff like that. And each one will have a certain amount of the attributes. So you have to pick the right freelancer who's available at the time for the job you want. The more you use a freelancer, they will gain experience from successful jobs, and they can level up, and their stats will increase for you to keep hiring. It's really, really fascinating. And, oh, right. Also, there are informants that you can talk to. Now, the thing with informants is, should you talk to them and choose to, well, if should you talk to them, you can choose not to talk to them. But if you do, you will have to pick. one of two things, and each of those things has a good thing and bad thing that will happen, such as maybe you now earn extra money for whatever job you're going to do. For like, you earn extra money for every job you do, but you gain less experience. Or different situations like that could be involved. That's what an informant will do. So you have to decide, do I want to do this? But you can start by deciding, do I want to talk to this informant right now? The game is really fun. Like I said, take everything kind of with a grain of salt as to why it took so long for me to talk about this. I'm not very good at these games, but I love playing them. City Skylines is a game I will get back to, and I will succeed at some point. But this was a very fun one of those games, and I do recommend it. It's in depth. It is easy to get into, but man, it it can take a lot to master. Some of the mini games, like specifically the lock picking, I feel like the lock picking doesn't give you enough time to really get into it. It's I I feel like that's the main mini game where I always have to spend one of the in-game currency isn't the right word, but for lack of a better term, the in-game currencies. I feel like I have to spend the in-game currency to like automate it because I feel like you just don't have enough time even on the easiest setting for that minigame. So there are mainly the only negatives I have are sometimes it feels like you just don't have enough time. And it's not so much, oh, I was slow. It was, oh, I just you just don't have enough time. But also part of that works into the managing your resources that I'm just not the best at. So take that with a grain of salt. But I did really, really enjoy this game, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're into this genre, this style of game. The presentation is fantastic. It is fun. I had just such a good time with it. It took me a while, but it it was hard. It was a much harder one of these kinds of games. That is my impressions of Rough Justice 84. This is available on, I believe, everything. I played it on PlayStation 5, but I know it is available on Steam as well. I'm not sure if it's on Switch and Xbox, but couldn't hurt to give it a shot. Until next time, thanks for listening, and have a great day.